We can't see them. But still they hit the headlines. How does it feel to go for a walk through a forest where predators are lurking once more? They're back, and first of all, we'll have to get used to them again. Can predators live amongst us today, as in the past? This is the question asked by environmental scientist Ulrike Müller. Do we have enough room for them here in the middle of Europe? Together with the journalist Tim Behrendonck, she's following the trail of wolves, lynx and bears in Germany, Finland and Poland. The trail begins in Hamburg. Tim works at a TV station here.
When I fed the term wolf into YouTube, I was pretty impressed. Little Red Riding Hood is still around today, just more violent. In reality, it's even more fascinating. By now, there are wolves again not far from Hamburg itself. The first ones came from Poland, 160 years after their extinction, and spread from Saxony throughout the country. In 2007, a wolf appeared south of Hamburg. For years he was alone. Now, however, that seems to have changed. A picture from 2012. And there's more. Rumours of offspring are in the air. That would be the first wolf pack so far west. A minor marvel. I'm on my way to Münster in Lower Saxony. I'm meeting up with the forester of the military training area where the wolves have settled. It does feel pretty weird to be standing in a forest where wolves are living. The camera team. The Federal Forest Ranger Helge John. Ranger John takes us to a track in the sand. The wolves passed by right here not long ago. Genetic analysis of the wolves' droppings has shown that the animals migrated here from Saxony.
Das ist der Bereich hier sozusagen?
Genau, das ist das Grisselzeug von dem Regen. Ne?
Jon says he's even caught the wolves' offspring on film. If the footage is clear, it'll be on the air this evening. And clear it is, a she-wolf with 3 cubs. They're sweet. How old are they?
8 weeks, max. They're still pretty small. The one at the back's running away, look, and taking a tumble.
Animal filmmaker and wolf expert Sebastian Körner confirms the first wolf pack in Western Germany. Is the significance of this immediately clear? I mean, 150 years no wolves, and now there are cubs.
Absolutely. It's clear that the wolves have been pretty much heading west for the last 3 or 4 years. So they're spreading out, and we can see that the habitats around here are ideal for them.
Ja.
Sebastian wants to film the wolves of the heath. I'd love to join him, but my colleagues in Hamburg are waiting eagerly for my scoop. The pictures of the first wolf pack in the West are to be broadcast on this evening's news.
Did you know that the number of wild wolves practically doubled last year to 120 animals? They've also spread to the northwest, and we now have the first film footage from there of a wild female wolf with cubs.
These pictures are the proof. In the foreground, that's the mother. Behind her, the 3 cubs. A sensation. The wolves are coming, my current topic. But other predators are also making a comeback. Further south, in the Harz, lynx have been returned to the wild. And this lynx from Bavaria was first tagged, then apparently poisoned. Predators in Bavaria. The first hits are Bruno the bear, who came up from Italy in 2006. He was marked down as a problem bear for eating sheep. His killing caused widespread outrage. Return of the predators. That's the theme. I need advice. Environmental scientist Ulrike Müller knows all about lynx, whose behaviour she investigated for her diploma thesis.
The question I've been concerned with for a long time is how people cope with these animals here and in places where wolves, lynx and bears were never extinct. So when Tim asked me to go with him to Finland, I was right up for it. What many people don't know is that wolves have also been exterminated in Sweden and Norway. In Finland, however, it's not happened. In the virtually uninhabited border areas with Russia, wolves still survive, along with bears and lynx. Our destination is Kumo, a small border town.
Only 5 million people are living in a country almost as big as Germany, yet Finland is far from being a paradise. That became clear to us, seeing the results of clear cutting from paper and furniture production. We're going to a nature reserve at the border, where the wilds have been protected from human grasp. Finally, we approach Kari Kempainen's farm. He lives with and for predators, he explains to us. Kari lures bears, wolves and lynx in front of the cameras of paying tourists.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey,
You can't give us the hand.
I cannot take hand with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Tim. Hi.
Hey, hello, I'm
Ulrika.
Kari. Kari.
Ulrike,
Yeah.
Great.
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet
Yeah.
you. You're very busy. What
Oh,
are
yeah.
you doing?
A lot of work, lot of work.
Okay.
This is salmon, right?
Yes, it is salmon from Norway.
We're meeting Ilpo Kojola. The head scientist of the Finnish Game and Fisheries Research Institute has enemies. Since his research also has an effect, it's no longer permitted to freely hunt predators, Kari explains, as he leads us to the baiting area.
Predator baiting is only allowed in a few places by the border and as a concession to the growing nature tourism. Nature enthusiasts from all over the world hunker down in Kari's dens.
No niin, terve. Terve.
Carrie and the predator researcher know and respect each other. The increasing tourist and media attention is in both of their interests as it facilitates animal protection. On a number of occasions, entire wolf packs have already been wiped out by poison, a disaster for Ilpo, the defender of the species.
A bear, our first wild bear.
Pirscht sich langsam an.
He's slowly creeping up there.
Now he's getting to the salmon.
Imagine coming across an animal like that in the forest and having to lie down flat.
So he can't bite your neck.
That would take a lot of guts.
There has been a lot of discussion whether bears will come less wary of humans because they probably get habituated to human presence. But in this area, there haven't been any problems. Any problem bears.
They shoot them.
Yeah, there's sport hunting is very popular, and maybe to keep bears wary of humans. Careful. Second, he's coming. Take one. He's coming.
Here comes another one.
The third bear gets Ilpo even more interested. He's known him for many years and marked him himself. His name is Juppe, and he's around 15 years old. In order to discover the trails and hibernation quarters of the bears, researchers are using another method.
This year we are capturing bears for coloring their GPS transmitters.
It was long held that only a dead predator was a good predator. By now, bear hunting has been regulated, and lynx and wolves can only be killed with special permission. Many people don't see why they should protect the wolf, an animal which savages their reindeer. They don't accept what Ilpo says.
Wolf belongs to our rural forests for sure.
What do the main Finnish people think about that the wolves not
I think that the majority of people are quite neutral.
Oh, really?
But if you're following up the public discussion, the two extremes are discussing. Those who are really against and those who are really pro wolves.
Okay.
Because the conflict is because wolves kill hunting dogs. It's too similar in Sweden and Norway. It's just a common Nordic problem. You had to allow a permit for specific reasons. You had to have the reason. Some wolves that has caused some damage or is too habituated to humans, is moving in people's backyards.
A bear with a transmitter collar causes some strife. They're not teddy bears, that's becoming obvious here.
Ilpo says there are 1,000 bears and still there are hardly any incidents. People and bears mostly just keep out of each other's way.
We're travelling towards the polar circle. There are people here who feel that their livelihood is threatened by predators. Our destination is the closed-off reindeer breeding zone of the indigenous Sami people. In the forests of Lapland, there are 160,000 half-tame reindeers living free. Fences separate the herds, but don't offer much protection from predators.
It's clear to me that predator protection, which came in with the EU, is pretty hard to enforce around here. We're following scientist Sanna Coco. Sanna is researching the behavior of wolves in the reindeer area. The state only pays compensation to the breeders if it can be proved that they were killed by a predator.
That's not a job for me. The bone marrow shows whether the animal was healthy and on the defence or ill. That's pretty gross. Sanna can tell whether it was a wolf or a lynx from the bite marks on the neck.
But this is not from teeth, oh? This one.
Here and here.
Here, yeah.
I'm interested in knowing what the man thinks.
What do you now feel when you see your dead reindeer over there?
It's not a nice feeling, but you can't do anything about it. In my opinion, there are just too many carcasses lying around the forest right now.
What do you think? Are they accepted predators?
Well, some do accept and some don't. Not everyone hates them.
Okay.
You were a scientist. What can you or what do you want to do against that?
Well, I think that the only thing that I can do is to develop scientific information about, for example, wolves, and let people know how they live.
And you say if they understand it better, the life of wolves, they can accept it better?
I think it can work. Not the whole hatred, but some of, for some people.
Back with Carrie. Together with the other visitors, we're seeing the bears at close range again. People from all over the world are learning to understand predators better here, and they're sharing their experiences and images with their friends. Carrie hopes that this will make the protection of these animals easier in the future. Our last evening. The proximity of the bears has sharpened our view of predators.
What do you think? Is it possible that men and bears and wolves, or people and bears and wolves can live together?
It's only my opinion, but I think that we need still maybe 2 generations that we can understand more bears and wolves and that they belong to their nature. They have been already here thousands of years and now they are just like coming back and take their own nature again.
Another 2 generations, Carrie thinks. We ask ourselves if the learning process will also take that long with us. In Germany, after all, we're still right at the beginning.
Sebastian has sent some new pictures from the heath. He had the idea of setting up 2 video traps opposite one another in the manoeuvre area, right next to the cubs' tracks. Great. Oh boy, no one's ever filmed a wolf that close up. And there's another. On that very same day, their parents killed 4 sheep. which the local residents didn't find at all amusing. Yet the wolves mostly avoid human company, says Ranger Helge Jon. They disappear before we can see them. We want to film the wolves ourselves at last, but that needs quite a big portion of luck.
Wolf, there's a wolf behind us. Sebastian hasn't seen
There's
it.
a wolf behind us?
Can you start filming? There's a wolf right there.
He can't, and Sebastian and the other cameramen don't realise what's going on.
Ich glaube, der Kameramann hat ihn.
My God, it really is a wolf.
Da ist echt ein Wolf. Oh mein Gott. Er weiß nicht, was wir meinen.
He doesn't know what we mean.
Da ist er, da ist er.
There he is. There's the wolf. Over there.
Da ist ein Wolf.
Do you see him?
Da vorne. Sehen Sie ihn? Da.
Yes, I can see him.
That's crazy. My God.
Mein Gott.
Das gibt's doch gar nicht.
I can't believe it.
Das zweite.
The second one.
Where's the other one? Back there.
Jetzt hat Sebastian.
Now Sebastian's got him.
Jetzt sind die beide zusammen direkt.
Now they're together right at that tree.
Oh, jetzt legt er sich hin.
He's lying down. Cool. Amazing.
Die warten auf die Eltern, dass die Eltern.
They're waiting for the parents to bring food.
Sie kommen wieder dichter.
They're getting closer and closer.
They're coming right over to us.
Der zweite kommt jetzt
Now
auch.
the second one's coming too.
Oh, sind die schön.
Oh, they're lovely.
You can see that they've sensed something. They're seeing something moving, but they can't quite pin it down.
Der eine verschwindet.
That one's heading back into the forest. He's lost interest.
smells something, but he's not sure what.
He's sniffing.
Yes, he's noticing something. That's real curiosity, insecurity. He's really torn. He wants to know what's going on, but he's still a little bit frightened.
As quietly as they came, they disappear again into the forest. What can I say, over the moon.
And I had my camera in the bag, and I didn't take any pictures. Well, I've got enough already.
In winter, the wolves on the heath are still making the news. With lynx, that happens less often. I'm on my way to the Harz Mountains, where, as from the year 2000, lynx from wildlife parks have been reintroduced into nature. Many inhabitants have been skeptical. The Harz is isolated like an island and far too small for the feline predators, according to many people. The region also depends on tourism. Right behind Bad Harzburg, the national park begins. In the forest by the Rabenklippe, a lynx enclosure is the attraction. Lynx patiently track their prey. They don't chase their prey like the wolf does, but ambush them in a lightning-fast attack. This one feeds on whatever the cars of the Harz run over. No one knows exactly how many lynx are roaming the forest here today. Probably a few dozen. Hardly anyone sees them. But someone is on the case, using telemetrical antennas. Ranger Ole Anders has supervised the lynx project from the beginning. He's fascinated by the big cats. In 2008, the first lynx were tagged, an important first step to understanding more about the life of this secretive hunter.
Hallo.
So this is the Harz, this green area here.
That's right, this big rounded forest area. It's about 2,500 square kilometers big.
How many lynx do you have tagged right now?
Well, altogether we've observed 8 animals. And here we're looking at the home range of 5 telemetrically tagged animals. This here is from lynx M4, for example, who travels over about 150 square kilometers. He's somewhere here right now, where we are. And I'm actually looking for him today.
Male lynx M4 is transmitting from around the Brocken mountain. At the beginning, Ole Anders had hardly any information. Chance sightings and photographs helped him. Some lynx were marked on the ears. Ole Anders observed that the cats would soon have litters. Since 2002, lynx have been born in the Harz every year. Ole knows the available space is no longer big enough for the young animals. They have to migrate because older cats, like M4, defend their territory tooth and nail.
And it's exciting with M4 right now because he's really expanding his territory to the east. The reason is that Lynx M1 is not alive anymore. We found him dead a few weeks ago.
So he's extending his range now.
Exactly. It took 2 weeks after M1's death for M4 to realize that no one was there on that side anymore.
So no more scent marks?
No markings, and also no more urine tracks. So then he went on his first bigger trip eastwards.
Until another one shows up, perhaps.
Yes, I'm sure that more males will come in from other directions to try to get their piece of the cake.
But soon, the cake will become a bit too small. Through telemetrical signals, Ole learns how the lynx are moving around. M4 has been silent for days. The male was often round the Rabenklippe, probably attracted by the lynx enclosure. But there's no signal from M4 here either.
We can really get an idea of a large area of his home range from here. Still no sign. But if we don't have any signal here, then actually he has to be on the other side of the Brocken.
A couple of days later, east of the Brocken, a ranger reports a killing.
That's a roe deer.
Maybe it's M4's prey, and only partly eaten.
Male, probably an infant buck.
When the flesh freezes solid, the lynx normally stops eating it. Still no signal from M4. The highest point of the Brocken. Here, there are technical problems.
The transmitter on the Brocken summit is probably causing interference now.
Ole hopes that M4 is still alive. This lynx often hunts in areas with lots of tourists. That's why his behavior is so interesting. Finally, M4 is alive and on the move in the Eastern Harz.
A few weeks later, I'm heading in the direction the heath wolves arrived from. I'm meeting a shepherd south of Berlin. In 2008, the first wolves appeared here from nearby Lusatia in Saxony. Shepherd Jürgen Körner quickly realized that fences alone would not be enough. He bought some Pyrenean mountain dogs. They proved to be successful against the wolves.
Some wolves dig themselves through from below, and some jump over. I have to stop the wolves from helping themselves. So far, it's worked perfectly, and I've not had a single killing.
The wolves are still close by. 15 dogs guard Körner's flock. The dogs live with and protect the flock from birth on.
The thing is, we get 75% funding for fencing as wolf protection, but we don't get a cent for the dogs.
What does a dog like that cost each year?
Around €1,000 a year per dog, not including the purchase price.
You've got 15 dogs, so if you're investing €15,000 a year, it's not just going into protecting your sheep, but also into wolf protection, in fact.
Wolf protection and landscape preservation.
And you don't get a single cent for that.
Not a cent, that's the problem.
The comeback of the wolves started at the turn of the century in Saxony. They came from Poland and found ideal conditions on military manoeuvre grounds. Sebastian Kerner lives here and is currently observing 14 wolf packs. The residents needed time to get used to the fact that among the deer, wild boar and foxes, there are also wolves living. If one thinks of the press photos, the bared teeth, has that never happened?
That does happen in the wolf enclosure. Wolves, adult wolves, are forced to live together in there. And in the wild, it never comes to that kind of aggression, because there, only two fertile adult animals live together and raise their young. They live with each other and for each other, and aren't in constant competition. The other aspect is clear from looking at the footage. These are the ancestors of our domestic dogs. They're family creatures, and as family creatures, they can evolve to be that close to humans.
The pictures say it all, and yet these family creatures still have an image problem.
A fresh kill on the Brocken, says Ole Anders on the phone. He's already heading over with the trap. Then a sudden change of plan. Come to Göttingen, there's a lynx at another kill. When I arrive, the lynx is already in the trap. I'm familiar with this procedure. The sedative is carefully dosed, then goes into a dart, which is put into a blast pipe. Everything is focused and fast, as the animal is greatly distressed in the trap. The lynx has to be sitting so that Ole can hit the leg muscle. We withdraw. A vet and a biologist come to help. He's a young one, right?
That's a young lynx.
The animal isn't carrying a chip under the skin, so he probably isn't from a wildlife park. Maybe he wandered over here from the Harz. The young lynx is well fed. The vet will mark him with a chip and take some blood, while Ole fits the transmitter collar. Perhaps the connection to the Harz lynx can be genetically established later. The chip goes under the skin. Should the lynx fall into human hands again, it will identify him. His heart is beating fast. The vet says he's excited, but that his pulse is clear. Apparently a strong young male.
Okay. Yeah.
Soon it's done. He wakes up.
Kommt.
He's the 6th male lynx that Ole Anders has tagged. Where will M6 roam? A little something to wake you up. We wait for the lynx to disappear into the dark and are relieved that everything went so well.
Ever since the year 2000, when 2 Polish wolves had offspring in Saxony, the number of packs has been increasing on both sides of the border. Scientists are already speaking of a Central European wolf population. I'm on my way to Western Poland to meet some biologists who want to investigate the wolves' offspring of 2013. The GPS coordinates for our meeting point lie in Drava National Park. A house in the forest. That must be it.
Good evening.
Hello. You finally came.
Tim,
Great.
hi.
Oh, Sabina.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sabina Novak and Robert Mislajek are among the leading wolf researchers in Europe.
Now you will see something special because nobody saw before how female prepare the den.
But she's really doing quite...
Yeah, she's doing it so vigorously. You can imagine, this is the end of the April. She's, you know, with the few pups inside. She's really pregnant. This is something like the 1 week before giving the birth. And then she does such a
Hard work. Yeah.
Hard work.
Already, oh look.
What is he doing?
It's a male checking the den if everything inside is okay. So sometimes such dens are visited by foxes.
Yeah,
so he is checking if the den is empty. Maybe some, you know.
Wow.
Okay, look at this.
Ah, wow.
So it's like just locking the door.
The weather next morning isn't suitable for tracking, but they have to find out if the pack is harbouring offspring. The little ones are still in the den, and there are quite a few of them. Robert discovers something.
It's not here, unfortunately. It's taken. Oh, it's a leg. Where's the rest?
I love that. I love to see that stuff.
It looks quite long, yeah. Yes, and some parts probably were taken to the pup den.
Oh, there is a den here.
There is a den, yes, 500 meters from the place. So pups are big enough to feed on meat, so they need lots of food now.
Wolves always build temporary quarters near the offspring's den. In case of danger, the whole family can move in.
7 maybe? 6?
7 meters. It goes 7 meters.
You know, there are more stable conditions if it's long. So the temperature is more stable, and even in sunny day, so they can survive. Even terrible rain, everything. Yeah.
The wolves in Drava National Park had their first young in 2010. Yet something occurred there which wolf researchers always dread. Nearby the protection area, the wolf cubs run around within range of hunters' guns.
And here is the place where these 2 young wolves were killed, just offsprings of the female, breeding female. They told that they were convinced that they were 2 raccoon dogs. But these 2 wolves were killed in hearts. They were injured directly in their hearts. So it was a little bit strange. We were in shock, yeah. Because it was just established a pack. After the first breed raised in the area.
Finally signs of life. Fresh tracks, probably the male, so they're close by and maybe even watching us.
It's really hard to see them, even, by chance. So it's like tracking ghosts, something like. Now we are waiting for lynx. Maybe someday, during, tracking wolves in winter, we will see tracks of lynx at the same,
here.
yes,
Yeah.
just here. So this is something which we are dreaming about also.
Lynx and wolves in our forests? Why not? Wherever they cause damage, society has to help out. We want them, and our environment has missed them for long enough.
The national park is starting an intensive screening of the tagged lynx. Of course, that's interesting for me as a scientist. Right now, M4 frequently crosses the video trap close by the lynx enclosure. So the students are getting a glimpse of at least one lynx. What's more interesting are the animal's habits, where and what he's hunting. Several signals a day from the same animal in the same place are known as a cluster.
This is the data transmitted today. We've got a clear accumulation of cluster points here. So I'll bet there's also been a kill there.
The signals of the last few days came from this thicket. Ola and Lucas have already found 7 kills by M4 in 4 weeks.
Here. Lucas?
Lucas, we've found it.
Wir haben's hier. Schreebock.
A roebuck.
Pretty much all eaten up.
That's a typical case. This is a kill where he's taken absolutely everything that's at all useful to him. We'll now take the exact position so that we don't just have a cluster position, but the precise location of the kill.
Lucas notes down all the data concerning the prey and the location.
Sieht echt gut aus.
I've seen quite a few kills, but rarely one so eaten away. Ola wants to show me something else. Without the transmitters, it was previously hardly possible to find out where the big cats raised their offspring. With female F2, Ola's been successful. She's hidden her cubs beneath a rocky overhang, far from any path. A cuddly bundle of lynx. Everything happens swiftly and quietly, so that the animal is disturbed no longer than necessary. The young lynx will be measured and weighed. Today, everyone's smiling, but back then they were under a lot of pressure. A final drop of blood for the scientists. Hardly before the little one can register what's happening, he's back under the overhang, a bearer of hope for the future. Can the great predators live among us once more? I think so. We do want them and should care for them. And of course also for the people who live near them.